So it is fall planting time, and I have a lot of work to do to prepare my garden for the entrance of new plants. So I figured that I'd just take you along for the journey today. I have this corn that I need to get rid of, so I'm going to just go ahead and hop to it and take you with me. Stay tuned. One bed down. And I started off actually wanting to just pull these up, but I decided to cut them instead. Reason for that is I'm a no-dig gardener, and right now I have a ton of weeds in this garden, and this section is pretty clear. So I really don't want to pull up the soil with the roots of these plants and reintroduce seeds that have been lying dormant in the ground. Now, yes, I am concerned about the fact that I have some roots that are in here that may be trying to pull nutrients, but my hope is that it's not going to be too bad for what I'm going to put here, because I'm going to put some green beans here. My last frost date is still quite a ways away, so first frost date is quite a ways away, so I'm going to try to put some green beans there, see if I can get a harvest of that before the first frost date. And because the green beans are nitrogen fixing, it should actually counteract what could be going on with the roots that I've left there. So that's the reason I'm doing that. So I'm going to go ahead and do that and hopefully keep that bed pretty clean. And I have plenty more to go, so let's get started. As you can see, there are tons of weeds that are also growing in front of my plants here. So that's one of the reasons that I really did not want to pull up the roots of the plants and disturb the soil. So I'm going to do the same thing on this one. Stay tuned. To leave or not to leave? That is the question. I have this wonderful collard green plant that I put there, and I was so tickled because I asked a question during one of Just Dorsha's lives about when she interviewed Sunday, and I asked, what did he wish that he knew before he started gardening? And one of the things he said was that he wouldn't plant collard greens during the summer, which was hilarious to me because that poor plant, it's done fine, it's done okay. We've eaten from it, but what has also happened is it's being just attacked by pests. So do I try to save it? Since it's cooling off and I've already done it, I think I am going to try to save it. So I think I'm going to go ahead and just give it a nice cutting and leave it alone. Since I'm talking about this collard green plant, I'm going to bring you in a little closer so that you can see who's currently visiting this plant. Look there. And is he eating? Is that what you're doing, guy? Don't know what all has been impacting this poor collard green. I know that it is definitely being eaten by cabbage worms. Um, but don't know if anything else is also eating it. So we shall see. Let me show you what this looks like. Of course, they look absolutely horrid. But what is very interesting about this, and I apologize if you can hear the hot rods, we have a horrible, horrible problem with hot rods right now. This is a 35-mile-an-hour speed zone here, and they drive down this road like they're absolutely insane. And don't get me wrong, I am one that loves American muscle. I love the sound of it. I love the sound that car had just now. I just don't need them doing that in a 35-mile-an-hour zone. Okay, off my soapbox and back to the collard greens. So, what I want you to see is the fact that this looks awful, but what you don't see are cabbage worms. There are actually there's not even one cabbage worm here. And why is that? I think it's because of this guy. He's actually still on there. Look at him. I think he has eaten them. Which is one reason that they're kind of good for the garden. But also another reason that they're not so good, because they will also eat your plants. But hopefully they actually just ate all of the cabbage worms. So I'm actually going to leave that guy alone for right now. I have so much more that I need to be working on that I'm not going to be concerned about that grasshopper right now. I did look him up though. He could be a friend or a foe. So he's a little bit of a fiend at the moment, but going to leave him alone and get back to work. So you may be wondering why I'm walking the way that I am now while I'm in there, which you may not be able to see if I sped this up, but the reason for it is because of all of the sweet potato vines. So I'll take you in for just a second, let you see what that looks like. So here we are now in that section, and as you can see, the sweet potato vines have made their way into the section that I've been working on. So I'm having to step gingerly through this, and I am not light on my feet, which makes that very difficult to do. So yeah, you can see all of the nuttiness going on with these, and I've got to get in here and get all of this cleaned out so that the sweet potatoes will have more room. Ultimately, I would love to be able to trellis up my sweet potatoes more. I actually have one little section that is currently trellised, and I'll take you in so that you can see that. And I did that last year and the year before, and that worked out really well. So that's ultimately what I want to do with all of the sweet potato vines, just to make it a little easier for me. So got to get all of this out of here though. So back to the cleanup. So you may be wondering, like, what in the world is going on with that pipe that is sitting in my garden? There's one sitting right there. And what I've used that for is to actually just put water down it to help water that area of the garden. And you would not believe how fast the water goes down. And I just keep pouring and pouring and pouring and pouring, hopefully to keep that area of the garden a little moist. So it's helped me out with my watering. So that's what that is. All right, let's keep going. I'm stopping because I want you to see what is going on this stalk. This stalk is the one that I have talked about before, that actually it's the one beside the one I talked about before that had the 3 ears of corn on it. So I'm going to bring you in closer so you can see this. Okay, so this is that stalk I was talking about, and look at it. It had ears of corn there. There's one that I did not take here, but look all the way at the bottom of this stalk. I have never seen that before. There's an ear growing out of the bottom. But she's coming down, so I definitely will not be leaving it here for that, because the top is gone. It's dead. It's over. No reason to leave that there. So we won't be trying to leave this and see what happens, because this plant is done. But I just thought that was really interesting. So guys, this section is a little bittersweet. This is the corn patch that we had problems with because of the torrential rains. So it's kind of bittersweet now, taking it down after we tried so hard to save it. Thankfully we did get quite a few ears. We didn't lose but one plant, but of course some of the stalks are so small that they just didn't produce very well. But all in all, we did well, so happy about that, very grateful for that. But a little bittersweet to see this go, but it's time. I saw this, guys, the other day, and I didn't get back out here fast enough to show you, but I just saw a video recently. I had no idea what it was. I think I remember seeing this as a child though, but this, I believe it was called ulakache or something to that effect. I'm gonna have to look it up, but I did have one. Of course it's all done now, but it's like some type of bluish fungal disease that happens in the corn kernels sometimes, and apparently it is edible for the adventurous. I didn't have any intentions of eating it, which was why I was a little slow coming back out, but yeah, we had ulakache. Probably butchering that, but yeah, we had some. This is the last one. Last corn stalk down. Well, this is it, guys. The entire corn alley is done. We've cleaned absolutely everything out. We have no more corn stalks in the garden. That is it for this summer growing season. Now we have to prepare for fall and get everything moving, because I am already behind. This little guy here, I'm contemplating whether I'm going to leave him there. He is pretty sad. I think I'm going to take him out. That's not my favorite Swiss chard. That's a Swiss chard that's actually been here since last winter. And I think it's done, so I will probably go ahead and take that out of here as well. Yeah. All right, guys, that is it for now. We have cleared out our corn beds. Everything is clean again, and we can begin our preparations. That's what's left, which is, looks like a lot because it is a lot. There's a lot going on in there. We have a lot of sweet potatoes already down in that area. That collard green is there. We have several ground cherries there, as well as a tomato plant that you've seen in some of the videos. So all that stuff down on that end, all the way back here to this bed that we've just cleaned out with all of our corn stalks. I'm gonna go ahead and finish the rest of this off tomorrow, put them in the compost. Yep, but that's it. Corn growing season for this year is over. Good morning, friends. So, hello. Thank you for tuning in. If you saw the video on our corn leaf, you'll see that I pulled all of this out, and I still have a little bit of cleanup to do. But what I do find funny is that I left a few sitting here, so I'm going to show you that now. So somehow these guys managed to stay here without me really noticing that they were still there. So I have to clean that up as well. So I'm going to start there this morning, and thought I would just take you with me because, as you saw in the video, I did take some of the corn stalks, and you saw me just disposing of them on the side. I am taking those over to the compost heap. I actually had some egg cartons that I'm going to be taking over there too. So I dropped them there a few minutes ago. So I'm going to take all of that stuff over there, get them chopped up pretty well, and then continue on with my cleanup because my fall garden needs to be in effect. So stay tuned. To show you, this little guy is on there, and I threw the other piece in there before I realized he was there. And guys, I love corn, and I love raw corn. So I'm about to eat this because there is absolutely nothing wrong with this little guy. I just missed him when I was harvesting, so let me see if I can show you what he looks like, give you a little indication. Yeah, look at that. He's just small, but he is edible. So he's about to be eaten. So let's see what it tastes like. Let's see if it tastes as good as it looks, because this ear actually is very well formed. So, here we go. Oh my God. If I could have only had everything produced exactly like this, because this is so sweet. I've gotten to the place where I actually prefer to eat them raw over cooked. And that is so good. All right. Oh my gosh. That was a good piece of corn. I'm so mad at this year because corn was what I struggled with this year. I usually have really good corn. You can see a video of the corn harvest before I have done. Maybe I'll put a link so that you can see it. But my corn is usually really good, big, really solid ears, and they are super, super sweet as this is. I think this might have been Golden Bantam, maybe. I think I got this from a local feed store, a farm supply store. A local, not a big box type, but that was delicious. Wish I could find the other piece. But it was still there. So this is where you can see it just wasn't completely ready, just wasn't completely formed, but that bottom was everything. So I'm gonna eat this too. There we go. Super sweet. And FYI, some of you may know it, but even if all of it doesn't produce all of the kernels, what I found is you throw this thing in a low country boil or maybe a New Orleans type boil, as maybe Miss Linda would do, and all of those kernels that don't seem to be ready, they taste fantastic. So don't throw these away. Shame on me, I knew better. showed you the last one, I figured I'd show you this one too. Let's see what this one looks like. It was a little late when I was doing this, so I didn't pay as close of attention. And this one's not as well formed, but I don't throw these away, guys. I really, truly don't. These get eaten. These end up in a boil. We're thinking about doing a low country boil this evening. So, yeah, this guy is about to be eaten. And I know some of you are probably going, what in heaven's name? She's eating this stuff raw. Try it. I'm not going to try it. That is so sweet. Try it. I promise you, if you try it, you'll realize that when you boil it, you lose some of the sweetness. But this is wonderful. What is it? Why I'm not eating some of them that look like they're pretty formed. This is already dried out, you know, so that's why I wasn't eating this. But now that I'm looking at this, I don't want to really save it because maybe it end up being some type of dwarf, but my interest is actually peaked now, and I'm wondering, would this be a dwarf? So I think I'm going to keep this. Let it dry out, and I'm going to plant it next year. I just pulled this one up from the side. This one's nowhere near being done, nowhere near as yellow as it needs to be, but I'm gonna taste it just because I'm curious. So I just pulled it up. Still really sweet. Not as sweet as the yellow, but it's still very, very sweet. And think about it, guys. I'm out here working in the garden. What better can I have for a nice snack than something right from out of here? I pulled it up, and all of the nutrition that just came out of the soil is in here. You can't beat that. And it's not cooked. You can't beat that. It's raw. In the section that was negatively impacted by the torrential rains. So I wanted to show you that I've been finding some small ears that I normally don't throw those away, and I've actually eaten a couple, of course, and they're fantabulous. So I want to show you if there's any on what's left of that one little section that we tried to save. So stay tuned. There were some. I'm not throwing that away. Why would I throw that away? If I hadn't already eaten some and was full, I'd eat this right Okay. Not perfect, but edible. Let's see about this other one. It's a little smaller, but yeah, look at that. It just didn't have the time, but edible. show you, I do have that one Swiss chard plant that's right here on the side. Let you see that a little more closely. It is that guy right there. I think it has had its run, so I'm going to be taking that out today as well. So since I'm already over there and I'm going in after this, because it's after 12 now and I'm in zone 8A, so it is hot. So I'm about to get out of here, so I'm going to go ahead and snip that off so that bed will be clear. Chopping it up because see, Swiss chard breaks down very easily. That's nothing, and that only takes a couple of days to do that. So I'm not even worrying about trying to chop it when I drop it in there. So I think what I'm going to do is just chop it all the way down for now, and then I may come and pull it out, or I may just leave it because I am trying to keep my beds clean, and I don't want to dig it up because that root is going to pull up some of the soil with it. So I may just leave it there and see if it just starts sprouting again, because I do have one that's been here for 3 years. So who knows? Show you that just what it looks like, because it didn't have an opportunity to grow. So okay guys, didn't have an opportunity to grow, so let me take you in right quick so that you can see that. That is right here. You can see that. I don't know, it's a little unclear. Let's see if I can zoom out a little so that you can see her. There she goes. So she's not formed yet. And of course, when I saw this, it made me start thinking about life, really, just in general. And how many of us, myself included, didn't have the chance to fulfill our destinies. Or maybe we had a chance and we just didn't do anything with it. Definitely guilty of that one, but this made me think of it. And then the last one that I'm going to show you, just as a reminder, is the one that I'm going to be keeping, and hopefully you'll see it again next year. And that is this one. This is one that dried out on the stalk. It was on one of the small stalks, so I don't expect that it will give a huge stalk next year, but I'm wanting to do an experiment just to see if maybe it will be a little dwarf if I let it grow. So yeah, that one's going to get to stay as well. All right guys, that is it for today. I'm going to get on out of this heat, but I do want to show you one last thing because it's where I must come next. So I am literally right beside that trellised sweet potato vine, and because so much was here with the corn, I had not seen this, and I've got to do something with it. But in the midst of this, if I can find her, in the midst of this is a sweet potato that has been hanging out. There she is. A sweet potato that's been hanging out, and I had not seen her. There she is. I've got to do something with that because she's not supposed to be out of the ground. So next stop when I come back out, maybe later on this afternoon, will be to put some more soil on that sweet potato. And actually I may have to do it before I get out of here because I see the sun hitting her. which I don't think that sweet potatoes are like white potatoes where they turn green and you can't eat them, but I don't know. But I do need to do something with it. And there are actually a few flowers that are on the sweet potato vine as well that I need to take off. So I may need to do that before I get out of here. But I'm going to let you go and I'll take care of that. So thanks so much for taking the time to spend some time with me today to see the corn cleanup and the preparation for fall. I appreciate you being here. I truly appreciate all of my existing subscribers and any new subscribers. If you see what you like or you think that this may be a channel that you'd like to be here to see what's going on, comment, help me, let me help you. Let's work together as a gardening community. I would appreciate you hitting like and subscribe. If not, it's okay. All's well. Everyone's not for everyone. We all have different personalities, and I'm definitely one that is different, uniquely made. So thank you again for just sharing the time with me today, and we'll see you again soon.